Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Sabrina Victoria. This is Her Talk Show. Today, we are diving into new country, new life, new freedom. We're going to be talking all about travel and relocating with Charlotte Tweed today. We're super excited about this. So get comfortable as we explore all the triumphs and all the challenges faced by individuals worldwide to just really feel this need to really just expand their horizons. So, Charlotte's going to be opening up with some insights, some inspiration to really fuel not only your personal growth, but also your professional growth. So, let's jump in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
All right, if you're listening live, welcome. And if you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. We're here every day. We delve deep into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. As stated, Charlotte, she is a relocation travel coach with a goal to take you on a journey where you don't just visit, you live it. Graduating with a travel and tourism honors diploma and coaching certification with the Travel Coach Network, Charlotte helps people find freedom potentially within self-sufficient communities. Charlotte resides in Mexico and is a published author transforming your life with culturally immersive travel. Welcome, lady.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm happy to be here, Sabrina.
Yes. Where are you calling in from, by the way? I'm assuming you are out and about.
Yes, in Ajijic, Mexico.
I love that. Very, very cool. Is this several places in Mexico that you have resided in, or did you move and you've just loved it and you stayed?
There's been a few places that we checked out in Mexico when we were looking to relocate. So we were in a village called Barra de Potosi, which is just south of Zihuatanejo. And we spent time in the country, actually, outside of Mexico City, in between two towns called Tenancingo and Melanelco. And then from there, we ended up coming to Ajijic, and this is where we stayed.
Wow. That's awesome. Did you realize when you were doing this, that this was going to be such a huge shift for you mentally, emotionally, financially, all the shifts that have happened? Did you realize that this is what was going to happen?
Yes, I realized it would be. We'd been looking at relocating for quite some time, so I had been doing a lot of research, and my husband and I are also quite well traveled, so we understand the transformative power of travel in long-term travel that we have done before. So I knew when you go on long-term travel and immerse yourself in communities, you change. You never go back the same.
That's awesome. And then what made you realize that you wanted to start teaching other people how to do this?
I used to be a managing editor for an expat magazine, and it was very libertarian focused. So we would get people emailing me and contacting me going, where can I go to escape the chaos? Where can I go to escape this new world order? And I just kind of felt writing wasn't enough anymore. I mean, I love to write. I'm a writer at heart, but I just felt I needed to be more hands-on with people and coach them through and educate them through the process on a more personal level. So that's why I decided to get into travel coaching, get my coaching certification, and help people that way with the contacts that I had made while managing the magazine.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you're speaking to individuals, who is contacting the most? Are these people that do understand travel and just need some guidance, or are these people that have never been out of the country and totally need, like, I've never been out of the country. I wouldn't even know where to start if I wanted to relocate somewhere.
Yes, and I have both that contact me. So I do have one of my clients right now. They're very well traveled. They're already expats, Americans living in Nicaragua. So they're looking to relocate as well. So they're looking for different countries and insights on that. And then also people who are in cold countries that are fed up with the weather. That was one of the reasons I left Canada, was I'm not doing the winters anymore. So people who are looking to go and escape those frigid temperatures.
Yeah, I totally get that. I moved to South Florida for that same reason. I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago,
Oh, okay.
and couldn't do the winters anymore, so wound up down here. So I totally get it. When you talk about freedom, I know you talk a lot about, finding freedom. How is moving to another country giving someone freedom?
I think you have to define what freedom is to you. Like freedom is different to a lot of people. For me, freedom, when we left Canada, it was, freedom of movement, freedom to make my own decisions, freedom for the government to kind of stay out of my life and mind their own business and travel where I want. For me, that's freedom. So looking at self-sustainable communities, countries that respect people and their beliefs, that type of thing. So opening people up to those destinations that are out there.
Awesome. And are you finding that? Are you finding that people move out of the country and then feel free?
Yes, especially where I'm in Mexico. There's a strong expat community here, a big combination of Americans, Canadians. There's quite a few people from Germany here too, actually, that a lot of like-minded people that left their countries to find that freedom, to get away from the oppression, the internal political tension. A lot of people here like that. So when you meet those people and connect with that community, it's very freeing.
Very cool. When somebody's deciding to do this, what are the 3 steps that somebody needs to take if they're looking to move out of the country? So like, I'm here, I live in Florida, I have a job, I have a family, I have a car, I have a house, I have a whole life. What are the first 3 things that somebody should be doing in order to prepare themselves to move out of the country?
The first thing is to do your research. So, and really look internally as to what you want for your life. So what are your main reasons for wanting to leave? Is it community or climate, affordability? Make a list of what your checklists would be. What checks off your boxes? What do you see your life looking like? And then research those destinations, research those communities. So that's a huge one. Then when you find places that you want to go, then you need to go. You have to go and see it yourself. And when you first go, you're not going to move right away. I would recommend not doing that. I have heard people that have relocated to a country, sight unseen. It's a recipe for disaster. It usually fails. They end up going back home. And that's not what we want. We want a person to have a successful move. So go visit, go immerse yourself in the country. Don't go to the resorts, because that's different. You're not going to the vacation to just lay on a beach. Living in another country and visiting on a travel basis are 2 totally different things. So you need to go to maybe, lesser known towns, get out in the community, go to markets. And then, when you come home, and you assess what you've seen and done, and then really probably hone in what you did or did not like about that location. And you think, okay, I'm ready to take the next step, start selling stuff. You need to downsize. So go through your things, sell online, donate, give to charity, give to your family, friends. You need to purge. And downsizing, that's a big one.
And then who are you working, or who is working with you as far as a job? Are predominantly the individuals that are reaching out to you individuals who have the freedom to be able to work online where it's not really that big of an issue, or are they actually quitting a job and then getting a new job?
Generally, they're working online, so remote workers. I would really suggest to people that before you do go, that you have, unless you're retired and you have a retirement income, but to make sure that you do have an income coming in to support you when you go to another country, and not just one income stream, but multiple income streams. Because once you leave your home country, take me, for example, I have temporary residency in Mexico. So I can't work in the country for a Mexican company. I can work online. Immigration is fine with me doing that. with, having my own business, that type of thing, but they don't want me taking a job away from a local, which, fair enough. I understand that. So you really have to have those income streams in place before you go. That's very important.
So almost suggesting that they quit their job well before, get a remote job.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to get one anyways.
Yes.
Start to work that job, create the income, get comfortable while they're, selling things, figuring out where they're going, Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. It takes time. And that's what my husband and I did. We both made sure that we were making money online, had our incomes before we left. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Love that. And then as far as programs that individuals can get into, are these, do you work with people one-on-one? Are these programs? How can people work with you?
I do one-on-one coaching, and I also do retreats. So for the one-on-one coaching, I really have a 3-step program. So the first is, education, and really delving into what that person wants, what they're looking for, what may be holding them back from making a move, what happened in their past or the present, or what they're thinking of the future as to why I may want to get out of here and go somewhere else. So really working with them to bring out the transformation that they're seeking. And then when we, figure that out, what they're looking for, then with my experience in travel and destinations and the self-sufficient communities, I educate them on the destinations that I know about that I think may be a good fit. So, we also do personality tests and quizzes so that they get insight into what they're like, and I also get insight as well. So interesting things like how they make decisions, what their travel personality is, that type of thing. So that's the first step. Then the second step is getting them to go and visit those destinations, immersing them there. If I have contacts in that region, connecting them with people so that they can start building that community and really seeing the destination through eyes of, can I live here? And then I can coach them through that and things that they can be expecting or want to do. And then when they come back home, coach them through the process of, how has your transformation you had on that trip, how can you apply it to your life now and to where you want to move to? And then when they do relocate, because I've been there, done that, I've been living in Mexico for 3 years now, I can help them assimilate into their new community once they do move and coach them through that. Because a lot of people will return back home after their first year leaving because missing family is a big one. People really have a struggle with leaving their family behind. So, yeah.
How would doing it differently keep someone from missing their family?
For me, because we have a son that's still back in Canada. He's 27. And for me, what helps me is Zoom. We can actually see him. When we left Canada, where we were, the distance was very far from family. Like I'll speak in kilometers, I don't know in miles, but 800 kilometers in between family, there was nobody there. So we had to travel anyway to see our family. And so for us, the transition may have been a little easier because we already had that physical distance. But for me, being able to see my son, talk to him once a week, we have an hour-long conversation on Zoom, that's very easy for me. And just staying in contact with, my husband's mother, my brother, just talking with them regularly.
Awesome. What's the biggest limiting belief when it comes to picking up and moving out of the country? Like the biggest myth, I guess.
Yeah. I think the biggest myth, really, it's about countries themselves and misconceptions about countries. So you may think people, I'm not moving to Mexico. I'm not stepping foot in Mexico because it's dangerous. Well, I've been here for 3 years. I've had no incidents happening to me. I actually feel safer here than I did living in Canada because I could see my neighborhood, my city going through rapid deterioration. So I think that is a big misconception, that people just don't understand the countries that they're going to. And that's why I'm such a proponent too of long-term travel and going and immersing yourself in a destination, because that really breaks down the stereotypes, what you think about the citizens of that country, you know, the climate, the political tensions, the safety. Oh, unmute, Sabrina.
Are you recommending somebody to go just go to another country, just pick a country, or are you recommending somebody to go with somebody? How do you recommend people to start to do this?
I would try. Some people are solo travelers, some are not. If you have family that would be moving with you, I would travel with your family. I mean, that's definitely what I would recommend. And then also, if you're interested in a destination, like I said, I'm going to be having retreats. So those retreats are going to be in the winter months to bring people down so that they can see what it's like leaving their country in the winter and immersing themselves in a community in an incredible climate where it's sunny all the time. The birds are singing, like blue sky every morning. It's gorgeous. So it really depends on the person and their situation.
Love that. Very cool. Can you tell us a personal experience about this from you?
Oh, well, when we left Canada, it was June of 2021. So we were looking at a few different destinations, a few different countries that we were considering to move to. We had a lot of experience in Texas, actually. We have lots of friends in Texas. So that was our first stop. We actually had a house sit. So that is something that I would encourage people to look into, as well as doing house sitting, because house sitting is a great way to get into a community and stay somewhere you wouldn't normally stay. You're not staying in a hotel, you're staying in a home. You're taking care of possibly somebody's pets. You're going to the local grocery store. So house sitting is a great way to experience a new country. Then from Texas, we went to Belize. The Ambergris Key is where we stayed. So we were there for 6 weeks. And then from Belize, we went to Nicaragua and we were there for 6 weeks. And traveling at that time was very difficult, because that's kind of when vaccine rollouts, all kinds of things were happening, and the travel industry was just decimated. Flights were a disaster. It was so difficult to travel anywhere. I thought once we got to Central America, because we kind of in our mind to like hop from country to country to country, but it was so hard to go anywhere because you had to get your tests. You had to send your PCR tests to the airlines. And if you didn't send them in within 42 hours, they could deny you boarding. And it was incredibly stressful. The flight patterns were a nightmare. When we left Belize, we had to fly. The best flight pattern we could do was go from Belize to Panama, to Miami, overnight in Miami, and then take a flight to Nicaragua. Wow. So we had to fly back to America before we could get back into Central America. It was a disaster, and it was so stressful. And I said to my husband, the next place we go it has to be a place where we can stay for a long time. And Mexico has a 180-day tourist visa that people get upon arrival. And Mexico was completely open. So you didn't have to have any tests. There was no restrictions. I said, from here, from Nicaragua, we're going to Mexico, and we're just going to settle for 6 months, breathe, de-stress from the incredibly stressful travel experiences that we had gone through, because we were almost denied boarding to go to Nicaragua because there was the connections. Remember how I said going to Miami? I forwarded my test to the one airline, but they did not forward it to the other airline. So as we were ready to, standing at our hotel with our suitcases, ready to get a cab to the airport, I got an email saying, you're going to be denied boarding to Nicaragua because we haven't got your tests. And I'm like, what are we going to do? We have our planes booked. I thought, well, we're going to the airport. We'll get on the plane. And when we land in Miami, if we have to go rogue in the United States, I guess that's what we're going to do. But fortunately, when we got to Miami, there was another email saying, we've received your test. You can board your flight as planned. And yeah, it was so incredibly stressful.
It
So
seems very unnecessary to scare
it
you.
was, it was, and I mean, you're out your money for your flights, you're out your money for your hotels, for your transportation. Travel shouldn't be that stressful. It really shouldn't be. And that's why I said, let's go to Mexico and settle. So we got here and we never left.
I love that.
Yeah.
How important is it to know the language?
Where I am, because there is such a strong expat community, it actually is the highest concentration of American expats in the world. There are positives and negatives to that. Some people are like, I do not want to be where there's an expat community, but there's a very important bond that's also available there. But because of that, there's so many English speakers here. English is very commonly spoken. We are taking Spanish lessons. So because not everybody speaks English, especially at the street markets, a lot of them don't speak English, the numbers and what the food items is. So we've taken enough Spanish now that we can get by at the market. So we're good with numbers, we're good at restaurants. We can get by. But where we are here, you do not have to speak Spanish.
That's awesome. I love that. Did you guys do that on purpose?
No, we didn't actually. No, I had heard about this place when we were doing our research before we left Canada. I had bought a book called A Better Life for Half the Price by Tim Leffel, and he's got a second edition. It's a great book. It goes through a lot of pluses and minuses on countries and positive, negatives, and makes you think of countries in a different light. Or, hey, I never thought of moving to Hungary, but maybe Hungary is a good option. So it was a really good book. And he mentioned in that book this place in Ajijic, where we are. And it took us a little longer to get here because this is such a popular place. It's really hard to find short-term rentals. And when we came, I wanted to be here for at least a month to settle in and see, is this where we want to be? And it took a while to get a location. It actually worked out. I joined some Telegram groups and put on there, okay, because I wasn't having any luck finding anything online. I said, I'm looking to come to Ajijic April 1st. Does anyone have a one month rental that is available? And it turned out there was another Canadian who wanted out of her lease. So she sublet to us for a month. It worked out perfect. So then we got here and were able to settle in. And actually within being here within 3 days, we knew this is where we wanted to stay.
Wow, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So you're looking at starting to do retreats at some point. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, my paradigm of leaving my country shifted when I first left Canada in the winter, because I thought winter was what made me part of being Canadian. Winter makes us resilient. Survive in this 6 months of sub-zero temperatures, that makes me strong. The coldest I've experienced is minus 67 degrees Celsius. And it's like, the older you get, the harder winter gets. So we actually took my parents on a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, and to Memphis. I wanted to take my mom to Graceland in April. Now, in April, where we lived in Canada, that is still winter. So when we got to Nashville, it was beautiful, beautiful weather, spring-like weather. People were mowing the grass. And it was, this is why people leave Canada in the winter, why snowbirds are so popular. In Florida, I don't know if you have snowbirds in your area. We call them snowbirds when they leave for 6 months. I didn't get it until I left. And then I went, you know what? I can leave Canada in the winter too, or maybe I can leave Canada. So I want to encourage people who have never left their northern countries, their cold climates, to come to where I am in Mexico and experience what it's like to leave and just enjoy the climate. It's sunny every day. Like our temperatures in the winter, I'll try and get Fahrenheit right. It's like 75 to 85. And then, which is usually 25 degrees Celsius. It's absolutely beautiful. Cools off in the evening. Very rarely does it rain. There's hardly any wind. It's blue skies, palm trees. The weather is incredible. So I really want to encourage people to leave their country in the winter and see what it's like. So that's what one of my retreats will be. to have it here to escape the winter retreat.
Great. And then how long are you doing? Weeks? You doing days? How long will your retreats approximately be? I know you're still working on it, but what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, it would be a minimum a week. I have had it suggested to me. I was, doing some planning with a partner last week, and she suggested 5 weeks. So we're just going, because like when we came here, we wanted to be here for a month. You need to be somewhere longer, as long as you can, to see if you really fit in with the community, right? And if that's what you want. So I know it's kind of a broad spectrum right now, but I'm thinking anywhere from a week to 5 weeks. So it may end up in the middle and be 3.
Love that. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love this. Really awesome. We have a ton of people watching live right now. If you're resonating with Charlotte and all the goodness that she's saying, she's talking about, Charlotte, where can people find you on, do you have a website? Do you have a page? Where can people find you?
Yes, my website is Liberty Travel Coach. And on most of social media, that's also my handle. So Instagram is Liberty Travel Coach. I have a Telegram channel that is Liberty Travel Coach. I'm on X at Liberty Coach Go, because Liberty Travel Coach is too long. I'm on LinkedIn under my name. Yeah, so
I love that.
I'm on
Very
YouTube
cool.
as well.
So you said Instagram first. I'm assuming that's where you predominantly.
Yeah, there, and I have a YouTube channel as well. So I do travel videos and what our life is like in Mexico on YouTube as well.
Awesome. Is the YouTube under your name or under your travel?
It's Liberty Travel Coach.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. All right. Well, for those of you watching live or on the replay, Charlotte's website is libertytravelcoach.com. It is in a clickable link in the description below. She predominantly hangs out on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Also has a Telegram. Any closing thoughts as we start to wrap up here?
I think the main thing is it is possible. It is possible to move. I know a lot of people think, well, I'm born here, I have to stay here. You do not have to stay where you were born. I like to encourage people to go and visit a new country or a new place every year, at least one, to break down those stereotypes, what you think about countries, about cultures. Yeah, just get out there and don't just visit, live it.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you listening live or on the replay and you're hanging out with us to the very end here, make sure you follow, like, and share. And my name is Sabrina Victoria. This is Her Talk Show. I invite you to join our amazing community where we continue to talk to women and help them rise up every step of the way in every area of their life. We cover health, wealth, and leadership. So we have Charlotte's link in the description below under libertytravelcoach.com. We also have hernationglobal.com in a clickable link below. What else? That's pretty much it. Thank you, Charlotte, for inspiring us, for sharing your wisdom with us. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Of course. As always, ladies, do something awesome.